What is going on, South Harmon? My name is Seth Dewald, and today we are going to be talking about 5 running backs that I cannot stop drafting, and that starts right now. So the first running back that I cannot stop drafting in 2025 is Kenneth Walker with an underdog ADP of 57, RB 18 off the board. And in 2024, it's true, Kenneth Walker played just in 11 games. All your buddies who do not want to draft Kenneth Walker are going to tell you, oh, the injuries. And that's somewhat true, but it's a little bit misleading. He missed 2 games with an oblique injury. He missed 2 games with a calf injury, and he missed 2 games with an ankle injury. But before this season, Walker had just missed 2 games in 2 NFL seasons. He should be 100% healthy in 2025. The Seahawks also have a new offensive coordinator in Clint Kubiak, and this is important because when he was in New Orleans, he was in New Orleans last year, and he served as the offensive coordinator in Minnesota in 2021 under Mike Zimmer. And in both of those seasons, Alvin Kamara and Dalvin Cook went on to have really nice seasons. In 2024, Alvin Kamara played in 14 games, was the RB9 overall, and the RB5 in fantasy points per game. In 2021, 13 games played for Dalvin Cook, RB14 overall, RB5 in fantasy points per game. Imagine if those 2 running backs had stayed healthy for their entire seasons. There are also some signs that point to Kenneth Walker being used as a true running back or a true bell cow in 2025. The most obvious sign was his increased usage in the passing game last season. In 2024, Walker saw 53 targets. That was number 13 amongst running backs. And he also earned a 13.8% target share, which was number 4 amongst running backs. That's a staggering increase in his usage in that department. In 2023, Walker saw just 37 targets, which was number 35 amongst running backs, and had just a 7.7% target share, also number 35 amongst running backs. So you can see the difference there is massive, and I would expect Clint Kubiak to continue to use Kenneth Walker in the passing game. The second indicator that Kenneth Walker should be used more as a true bell cow was his snap share and opportunity share, which does account for his passing game, increased passing game usage as well. In 2024, Walker ranked number 12 amongst running backs in snap share at 64.3%, number 11 amongst running backs in opportunity share at 72.5%. Compare this to 2023, where Walker saw just a 54.5% snap share, number 24 amongst running backs, and a 67.7% opportunity share, which was number 14 amongst running backs. You can see where this is going. And we touched on the offensive coordinator earlier, but I do want to reiterate that this is a good thing for Kenneth Walker, because the $1 million question in this whole situation is, what about Zach Charbonnet? And to that, I would say, well, what about Zach Charbonnet? I think he's in trouble from a usage standpoint based on the offensive coordinator that's coming in. Because you can't argue that Charbonnet did well when Walker was out. But as soon as Walker was healthy, Walker had the reins once again. And last season with the Saints, Kamara ranked number 7 amongst running backs in snap share at 73.1%, and number 2 amongst running backs in weighted opportunities. And in 2021, Dalvin Cook, same story. He ranked number 4 amongst running backs in snap share at 70.5%, and number 10 amongst running backs in weighted opportunities. The past, Clint Kubiak's past tells us what he likes or prefers to do with his running backs, which is to feature one running back with a 70+% snap share. Now you could say, well, Kenneth Walker isn't Alvin Kamara or Dalvin Cook. And that may be true, but this is the history is telling us how the offensive coordinator, the guy with the clipboard, the guy who's going to be calling plays, what he likes to do. Those are the facts, and I just told you the facts. So you can't say that Kenneth Walker has an injury problem, because he doesn't. That's only last year. That's recency bias. And you can't say that the offensive coordinator doesn't like to feature one running back, because he does. And then what's the other thing that you could say? The offense might not be as good. I don't know. I think this offense has enough pieces to move the football and to score. So for all those reasons and more, Kenneth Walker, to me, is one of the most signature guys you can draft, especially at his current value. Up next is Isaiah Pacheco with an underdog ADP of 81, RB27 off the board. And the cost here is just unbelievable because Pacheco is likely going to be the starting running back for the Kansas City Chiefs once again. He was hurt last year, and this clearly impacted his performance, especially down the stretch. He clearly tried to come back too soon from that broken leg. And like we said, he's RB27 off the board. Don't forget that in 2023, Pacheco finishes the RB14 in fantasy points per game at 15.3 fantasy points per game and was a common round 2 pick in redraft leagues in 2024. During that 2023 season, Pacheco ranked number 13 in snap share amongst running backs at 61.2% and number 8 in opportunity share at 72.4%. The teams tell you what they think of their roster by the moves that they make, and the Chiefs did not add a running back in the offseason outside of Elijah Mitchell and round 7 draft pick Brashard Smith. Kareem Hunt is also still on the roster, but there isn't much standing in the way of Pacheco earning the RB1 job in what should be a Chiefs offense they're going to be able to move the football and they're going to be able to score points. They always have been, even though the scoring output has been down in recent years. That shouldn't really impact Pacheco too much. He's still going to get his opportunities. And don't forget, Pacheco in that 2023 season ranked number 10 amongst running backs with at least 100 snaps in PFF's rushing grade during that season. So the argument that Pacheco has lost it just doesn't resonate with me. I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be the Chiefs' starting running back. And if that's the case, this value is just unbelievably good. So draft, I cannot stop drafting Isaiah Pacheco. And this next one, I understand that the ghouls and goblins in the comments are going to come after me with their pitchforks and their axes and their bow and arrows.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But DeAndre Swift, with his underdog ADP at 76, RB26 off the board, I think is a good value, and I can't stop drafting him because I want to ask you this one question. I implore you, who is going to be the starting running back for the Chicago Bears? Because the answer to that question, if we are all being honest with ourselves, is DeAndre Swift. Who else do the Bears have? They have Roschon Johnson. Oh boy, he averaged 2.7 yards per carry last year. Travis Homer, special teamer. Yes, they drafted 7th round rookie Kyle Monangai, but do we really think that he's going to come in to a Ben Johnson offense right away and take 250 carries? I highly doubt it. Now, if only we had a season on record where Ben Johnson was calling plays with DeAndre Swift on the roster. Oh, wait, we do. And that was 2022. What happened during that season? Maybe that can shed some light on how Ben Johnson plans on using DeAndre Swift. Well, let me tell you, in that season, DeAndre Swift was used primarily as a pass catcher. He ranked number 42 in snap share, which isn't great at 41.8%, but he ranked number 10 amongst all running backs in targets. Jamal Williams was the other running back on the roster, had one of the more bizarre seasons that I can remember from a running back where he ranked number 45 in snap share at 41.4%, but number 7 in carries amongst running backs and number 2 in red zone touches per player profiler. So my guess would be, since the Chicago Bears offense doesn't have the most talented backfield in the NFL, it's one of the worst backfields probably in football, but the opportunities are going to be there for DeAndre Swift, especially in the passing game. And they don't have a running back even at the caliber of a Jamal Williams on the roster, because to this point, Roschon Johnson has not carried the ball more than 100 times in a season. And just go back and look at Jamal Williams before that 2022 season. He wasn't the most spectacular running back, but he was a capable backup. And like the way this Bears team is currently constructed, DeAndre Swift, it's almost, for lack of a better option, he's going to get these opportunities. And at RB 26, with a Bears offense that's going to be better with an improved interior of the offensive line, how is that not a value? You tell me in the comments. This next suggestion is not going to be popular either, but I cannot stop drafting Travis Etienne with an underdog ADP of 105, RB 35 off the board. And I get it. I'm going to get absolutely killed for this. Last year was horrible for Travis Etienne, but he was banged up, shoulder injury in week 4, hamstring injury in week 6. And there's a new play caller in town, and Liam Cohen, new head coach, new front office. And the new front office, you could say, okay, well, they drafted Bashul Tootin. That's going to be their guy. But they waited until round 4 to address the position. And that's my point, is they didn't take a running back in round 2 or round 3. They waited until round 4, and Tootin does have some issues with fumbling the football. So my guess is the rookie, while he's dynamic and while he's probably a value too at his current ADP, Travis Etienne is likely going to be the guy. It's likely going to be his job to lose. And the offense also added Travis Hunter to the mix, which should help in the running game. And don't forget that Travis Etienne is also in a contract year. So what do the Jaguars have to lose by just throwing him out there and seeing what happens? And, if this offense really takes off, it could be Travis Etienne, who was college teammates with the quarterback, that could really propel fantasy teams in 2025. But I'll admit that this is more of a bet on the situation, more so than any other metrics that I can point to, because last year was so bad for Travis Etienne, but I can't stop drafting him in 2025 just purely based on the value. And speaking of value, last season did not go how the Carolina Panthers envisioned their season going, and this was especially true considering Jonathan Brooks tore his ACL and then tore it again, which propelled Chuba Hubbard into a role that they probably didn't envision him having, but he excelled at it. And currently he's on Underdog. He is being drafted at pick 53 overall, RB16. And in 15 games played last season, Hubbard finished as the RB14 overall, RB13 in fantasy points per game. He thrived with the volume he was given. He ranked number 3 amongst running backs in snap share at 77.3%, number 4 amongst running backs in opportunity share, 77.9%. Hubbard also ranked highly in targets. He was number 12 amongst running backs with 54 targets. Red zone touches, he was number 14 with 52 red zone touches, and he was efficient. His true yards per carry ranked number 12 amongst running backs at 4.6. Yards created, number 14 amongst running backs at 976. And expected fantasy points per game would have had him as a top 10 running back. He was number 7 in that category at 17.4 expected fantasy points per game. Hubbard, there's no way around it. He served as a true workhorse for Dave Canales in 2024. And in 2023, during the only other season where Dave Canales was a play caller, serving as the offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay, Canales propelled Rachaad White to a season where he finished as the RB22 overall and the RB23 in fantasy points per game. But the real story is that White finished number 4 amongst running backs in snap share at 77.4% and number 7 amongst running backs in opportunity share at 75.3%. The moral of the story is Dave Canales finds a running back he likes, he sticks with them, and makes them the focal point of his offense. And teams, we say, or I say this all the time, teams tell you the truth by the moves they make in the offseason. And sure, the Panthers added Rico Dowdle and they drafted Trevor Etienne. But in my opinion, this shouldn't affect Chuba Hubbard's status as the true number 1 running back in Carolina, because Chuba Hubbard, for lack of a better way to say it, is better than those guys. And he proved, Rico Dowdle had a similar opportunity last year and wasn't nearly as good as Chuba Hubbard. So my guess is he serves more of a Miles Sanders-like role in the offense. And Trevor Etienne, round 4 pick, he's a rookie, so he's probably not going to get opportunities right away. And the team also added Teteroa McMillan with their first-round pick in the NFL draft. This should help out the running game by opening up the offense, spreading out the defense, so they have to cover that Mike Evans-like ex-wide receiver on the outside. That Teteroa McMillan is likely going to serve that role in this offense. So for all those reasons and more, Chuba Hubbard is a value currently in underdog drafts, and I cannot stop drafting him. And that is the video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to click the like button, subscribe to the channel for more videos, click the alarm bell to be notified when new videos get dropped on the channel. And until next time, be good, everybody, and we will see you later.